Hi, my name is Amrish. You are watching Gourmet at Home. I was waiting for a long time to share this recipe with you. I have seen my grandmother cooking this recipe, I have seen my mother cooking this recipe, and now I see my wife also following the same recipe in her kitchen. And it's not a home style recipe, it's my grandmother's style recipe. The dish that I'm going to prepare today is saag paneer. The word saag means green leafy vegetables. In olden days, the saag was prepared with an assortment of 3 to 4 different leafy vegetables which were available locally during the season. But now, mainly we see the saag is prepared with spinach leaves and the mustard leaves. Mustard saag is mainly prepared in the winter time, but the spinach leaf saag is prepared round the year. So I will be preparing my saag paneer with some spinach leaves, coriander leaves, and I will be flavoring it with some dry fenugreek leaves. So let's start preparing the recipe of saag paneer. So for this recipe, I will be making first onion tomato masala, and I will be using spices like fennel, cumin, dry red chili, some crushed coriander seeds. So it will be a typically North Indian Punjabi style saag paneer. So let's add some oil to the pan. So I will be using approximately 2 tablespoons of oil. In the meantime, my oil is getting ready. I will just crush some coriander seeds. So the oil is ready. We will add 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds, 1 dry red chili, half a teaspoon of crushed coriander seeds, and now I will add approximately 3 tablespoons of chopped onion, half a teaspoon of salt. We will saute the onions until soft and translucent. At this stage, I will add garlic. So this is a sliced garlic. You can use chopped garlic also for this. Garlic and cumin are the 2 main flavors in saag paneer. So I don't want to cook my garlics to caramelize stage. I just want to cook them until they are soft and translucent, or they are not caramelized, just a stage before that. Now I will add chopped tomatoes. Now at this stage we will add little water. Now I have added little water to ensure the masala will not stick on the bottom of the pan. Also it will help me to soften the vegetables. At this stage I will add 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder, half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, and 1 teaspoon of coriander powder. In olden days, when they used to make saag in clay pots or on a thick bottom pots. So they lightly sauteed the spices along with some garlic, some onion and tomatoes, and then they used to add the leaves in that. So here also I haven't cooked my onions and tomatoes or the garlic to a golden brown stage. So they are still raw, because then only you will have the flavor of that onions, tomato, ginger coming through your saag. So at this stage we will add 1.5 teaspoon of roasted gram flour. Now after adding the gram flour, we will add the spinach paste, in olden days they used to add gram flour or maize flour or the breads which are left over from the previous meal to the saag, because it helps in bringing all the leaves together, giving a nice texture. Also, when you're cooking the saag, it helps to retain the heat in the pot, which later on helps in breaking the fibers of the leaves. So this is what I have learned from my grandmother. So that's the reason we have added a little bit of gram flour in the saag. At this stage, the saag is a little bit thick, so we can add some water to it, because we want to continue the cooking of saag at least for 15 to 20 minutes so that raw flavor of spinach is not coming through the saag. But traditionally when we are making the saag, it takes at least 2 to 3 hours because we are making the saag with raw leaves. But in this recipe, we have blanched the spinach and then we have started the recipe. As I have said that we have used blanched spinach in this, so you must be thinking, what is blanching? Blanching is the cooking process where we cook the vegetables in a hot water, ensuring the color and the texture of the vegetable is retained. Now, if we are using a green vegetables for blanching, we always prefer to add little bit of baking soda to it because it helps in preserving a compound in green leafy vegetables called chlorophyll. Now at this stage we can see the saag is thick in texture, so we can just check whether I can feel there is no raw flavor of spinach in this. So we can add paneer in this now, chopped ginger, green chili, lots of green coriander, ghee. If you want to make your saag paneer a little bit loose, you can add water. But traditionally the saag is served thick, so I will not add much water. So now we'll mix the saag and we will add dry fenugreek leaves, some crushed fennel seeds. Now the saag paneer is almost ready. Traditionally we eat saag paneer with chapati or with makki ki roti, but here I will be serving the saag paneer with some roti crisp. After frying the roti crisps, I have seasoned it with some salt, chili powder and some garam masala. My saag paneer is ready and my roti crisps are ready. So let's start plating the saag paneer in traditional style. So I'm serving the saag paneer in the classical steel katori. I will garnish it with some ghee, some chopped ginger, coriander, red chili. Then I have got some pickled onions with me along with some green chilies. Then I will be serving my roti crisps. And here I have got some jaggery, a poppadom crisp, and this is a very classical way of roasting the poppadoms at home. This is my version of saag paneer, which is inspired from my grandmother's recipe. The flavors are very traditional. We have got cumin, garlic, fennel seeds, fenugreek leaves, and then finished with lots of desi ghee in it. We are presenting the saag paneer in a very classical way, where we have got some masala onion, crispy poppadom, green chili and some jaggery in it. Also we are serving the saag paneer with some crispy rotis in it. I am sure that will add an element of entertainment and aesthetics on the platter. This will appeal to the new generation without compromising on any flavors. Looking forward to see you again in our next episode of Gourmet at Home.